guys, welcome back to this channel, and today we're reviewing Rocky 3. Not gonna do it, I promise. But anyway, today let's just get on with the review. But don't forget to, by the way, I kind of have a new kind of schedule, new type of schedule really. But so go check that out. The card is right here, and also with the Rocky playlist. So and you can go check out my first two movie reviews. The link will also be in the description below for that playlist. For that playlist, and let's get started. Let's start with what the movie's about. And this movie's mostly about like Rocky trying. He wanted to fight this guy. Well, this guy named Clubber Lang, played by Mr. T. In fact, wanted to fight Rocky Balboa, and and then Mick is telling him like, no, 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 don't do it. And then he wants to, and also this is he's the heavyweight champion, and that's really what it's about. It's much hard to explain. It's kind of like one of those big sports guy aging, I guess. I don't know, but really, that's really what it's about. To put it simply, this is one of those years of Sylvester Stallone with Rocky 3 and Rambo First Blood. You have the good. Starting with the good, you have the villain. I think Thunderlips. Oh wait, not Thunderlips. Villains. I guess I did put villains. I guess so. I'll start with Clubber Lang, played by Mr. T. He's awesome. He's very dangerous. He came out of jail to fight Rocky Balboa, and he's just insane. Like near the end, I'm like, this guy wants to kill Rocky. Like Jesus. And then you know what the funny part is that he's the most dangerous Rocky villain, including the Dragos. Really, excluding the Dragos, he definitely is the most dangerous. But including them, I think he is the most dangerous. Because he's way more dangerous than someone like. I think the only person that might beat him for dangerosity is. I think that's not the right word, but I don't know, is Victor Drago from Creed 2. Also, there's Ivan Drago. I might go with Ivan Drago for more dangerous than Victor Drago because he's way less human. Because Victor Drago, there's some parts where he hits Creed really hard, but he doesn't look like he's about to kill him. Like in Rocky 4, Ivan Drago is literally about to kill. He killed Apollo Creed, and there's a scene I think where he's about to kill Rocky. I'm not sure, but anyway, enough about Rocky 4 and Creed 2, or the Dragos in general. I think Clubber Lang, great villain, one of my favorite ones of the franchise. Mr. T does a phenomenal job. Love his mohawk, and overall, the only thing I don't like about it is that I feel like. I wish that they did a little bit more with him because at times it feels like since he is coming out of jail to fight Rocky, it's like wait, he wins and then he goes back to jail. When you think about it, it's really funny. But overall, Clubber Lang, great villain. Then you have Thunderlips. Thunderlips weighing 325 pounds. I'm like, what the hell? What is going on? This guy ate a lot. Jeez, how can he fight Rocky with a big stomach? I don't know. Thunderlips is hilarious. I love how they're all just booing him. That just adds to the fun to it. And overall, Thunderlips just very funny. I love he's more of a wrestler, and then I love the scene where Rocky picks him up and then just kind of throws him. That was probably the best fight in the film. I'll talk about the final fight later because I had issues with that. Then you have Apollo and Creed, and not Apollo. I'm sorry. Now you have the relationship between Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa. My God, I think the relationship in this movie is explained really well. It did feel a little bit tacked on that they were best friends for life. I think Rocky 4 showed that just a little better. But seeing them being friends and seeing them run, didn't love some of the shots there with the shaved legs. That I didn't really care for that, but just seeing them together, kind of like you kind of see that best friends vibe. You see that vacation. I get that vacation vibe when they're running on the beach for some reason. Some movies that just bring that to me, specifically movies from the 80s. It's weird, I know, but overall, I really do like the relationship between Apollo and Rocky. Then you have Sylvester Stallone. This is one of his weaker performances. I think this is his maybe fourth weakest. I think it's definitely better than Rocky 5 and Rocky 4, and possibly Creed 1. Yeah, Creed. So yeah, it's I think it's in the middle. It's one of his weaker ones, in my opinion. He still does. There's only one movie I don't really care for him in, and that's Rocky Five. But I still think he's fine in that movie. But here, he's just great. Like you see him act really well as Rocky. You see him at his different phase of life, and overall, they do some great stuff with that. And I think Rocky, they still do a great job with him. Now you have the plot. Overall, the plot here pretty generic. I think this did come out before Talladega Nights. I'm not sure, but it's kind of generic, really. But I still think it's done really nicely. You see Rocky at a different age. You see him kind of being a little older, not as good as a fighter as he was in, let's say, the original, as the let's say the second one. Actually, no, I wouldn't say the third one, but actually that's a bit more. That's debatable. But you see him at an older age. He beat Apollo Creed, and Apollo has to train him to beat Clubber Lang. Although at the same time, it does feel like he's making excuses just to say that he didn't win. But anyway, I just really do like the plot here. It's enjoyable. And then the final thing, I have the Eye of the Tiger. I love how they incorporated that into the film. It's just kind of it doesn't add to like the more '80s aspect of it. Although it's not as '80s as Rocky Four to me, but I think this movie I do think had the '80s a bit, and the Eye of the Tiger helped with that. But it took away from the only problem I have with it is that it kind of took away from the Italian Stallion, which is really well. Which they made the Eye of the Tiger thing in this movie. It took away from the Italian Stallion. Didn't love that fat. I didn't love that they did that. Although at the same time, how much longer could they have done that? Because Rocky Four, he was in the Cold War, and then Rocky Five, he retired. So in a lot of ways, that makes it a little odd. Mm. In any way, just the Eye of the Tiger song is pretty well incorporated. But let's move on. Now you have the mixed stuff, and starting out the mixed up, you have the retiring plotline. I mentioned this in my Rocky 2 review. I had issues with that in that film. I do think this one did it just a little better because it played into more stuff. Rocky 2, in a lot of ways, this movie, it just felt odd and like tacked on. I mean, he retired for like 2 seconds, I guess, because Clubber Lang's like, I want to fight you. And then I do think and then with that, you have mixed death, which was, I don't think was very well handled. It was very oddly handled, in my opinion, but overall, I do think this movie really did a pretty good job with the entire plot line, but it could have been done a little better. And yeah, need the train montage and final fight. I have mixed feelings about both of these. In that, like the training montage, I think personally, I'd say this is one of the weaker training montages. I think it's maybe it ranks at maybe number five for me. But what the thing I think this is a pretty generic training montage, unlike the first two Rocky movies, which felt like very outside the box enter- entertainment. Outside the box workouts. Why I say entertainment? I don't know what is wrong with me. I guess this movie is entertaining. So pun. Oh, okay. Not very good, but I mean this movie is fun and entertaining. But overall, like the training montage, pretty good. It's alright. And but he's just doing generic workouts more than any of the training montages. I'd say this is the one I think feels the most like just generic, other than maybe Creed, the first Creed. This feels like most like just generic workouts that he's just doing. Like he's swimming, he's running with Apollo Creed, which I actually do like those race scenes. Those are pretty cool. But I think this is kind of where the relationship with not Apollo, Rocky and Adrian started to go downhill because I find her kind of annoying in this movie. But she's all right. I don't have a problem with her, but not nowhere near as good as Rocky 1 and 2, and the emotion just wasn't there. Yeah, so it didn't bother me. It didn't hurt the film, but it didn't really uprise the film to like a higher level. And then like you also have and then the final fight. It's an odd one because like you have Clubber Lang and the fight choreography isn't bad, and then like the hit motion, and then but the problem is there's like a bunch of like close ups to the faces. Like I thought that was weird, especially in that scene because every Rocky movie kind of retcons. I mean, retconning is not the right word, but it kind of retcons the movie that came before it. yeah, retconning is not the right word. But you see the stuff that happened with the final fight, and then when you get the Rocky face close up, that was just odd. And then I just don't like that they did all these close ups. They did it with Clubber Line, they did it with Rocky. It was just really weird. But other than that, the final fight, it's alright. It's definitely one of the weaker ones, that's for sure. Probably, I don't know where it ranks. I'm not going to tell you because that's going to ruin that list later. Sorry. Then you have the 80s cheesiness. Like, Rocky 4 also had the 80s cheesiness, but this movie had it to the next level. That movie had the next level. This movie, it's in the mix though, because it kind of adds to it. But the problem is that this Rocky 4 just went full well over the top. Well, this movie kind of balanced the overtop with the serious stuff, and it didn't really work. Kind of like maybe I don't know, but kind of like some other movies could have done it. And it does still have the heart of the franchise of all the Rocky movies, except for maybe Rocky 5, but we all know why that's bad. And it has all the stuff you want in a Rocky film, just a bit more cheesy, a bit more 80s. And I feel like I was expecting the tone of the first two to be implemented into the rest of the franchise. And it was odd going from two to three, and then going from five to, it's odd going from two to three, and then Balboa to Creed. And like some transitioning, like the problem with this franchise, the one issue I have with it is that it transitions into other eras really awkwardly. Like it's really awkward the way they do it. Like when it transitions to the 80s, it didn't do it very well. And then I think the one that was between Rocky Balboa and Creed was slightly better, but it still didn't really work for me. And then Rocky 5 to Balboa, that one didn't work at all. And I feel like we never got the standout 90s Rocky movie, really. That would have been awesome. I mean it. But overall, this movie just has a lot of cheesy stuff to it. It doesn't bother me that much, but I have fun with it, but it's a bit cheesy. There was no bad, and for this movie's final score, it's gonna get an 8.6 out of 10. I like this movie probably more than Rocky 2. I have a ton of fun with it. It's just a bunch of the things I mentioned, like the train montage and final fight and the red tire plotline, kind of do ruin it, and also the 80s cheesiness. But this movie's just a ton of fun. But the things that save it: Rocky and Apollo's relationship, the Eye of the Tiger song, and the villain, Mr. T, or Clever Lang, really. But anyway, that concludes my thoughts for this video for this movie. And then I'll be doing Rocky 4. Maybe on Thursday of next week, I don't know. In a week from now, maybe. I don't know. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Adios.